And now, the elephant in the room. Why is the UI and the palettes not able to be modified? You'll see, on the one hand, you can export these files and check the image files, but if you try to modify them, you'll only crash the game. And trying to modify anything related to the characters like palettes, movesets, frame data, etc. is straight up illegal. No, seriously, doing that is grounds for a legal conflict with Autumn Games.
Yeah, that it's like milk, huh? What's up, my FGC buddies? This is Morgan Animations with a new modding tutorial for Skullgirls Second Anchor. Once more, I have to clarify that this video covers specifically the PC version of Skullgirls Second Anchor, not mobile, and sadly not a console version of Second Anchor. With that said, now we can modify palettes! I'm sure that most of you have seen on Twitter and YouTube a bunch of replays, combos, and even pro players talking about custom palettes, referring to the palette editor I'll be covering today. My intention was to actually make this tutorial way before, but IRL stuff happened. I'll leave it like this for now. If you've seen my previous tutorial, then you must imagine stuff won't be as simple. But surprisingly, this one isn't that bad. If you don't believe me, just check the link of this video. And if you haven't seen it, why? Then you might be wondering, but Morgan, you said that it was super illegal to mod the palettes. Why are you making a tutorial now risking yourself for a legal fight? That doesn't make any sense. That's a really good question, Doggy with the wait, you guys won't get that reference. Well, to summarize a bit, there are technicalities with the game's copyright and property, specifically Second Anchor, not the Skullgirls IP in general. Autumn Games knows about the mod's existence, but at the moment of recording they haven't done anything because the game technically is still property of Hidden Variable and Future Club. Sure, that could change at any time, so save the link just in case I have to set the tutorial as non-listed. Anyways, let's not get more tangled in the questionable legality of all this and get straight to business. Before you open any tabs and download anything, you're gonna make a folder in the main Skullgirls folder. I already explained how to get there in my previous tutorial, but if you haven't seen it or don't know how to access it, it's very simple. Just open Steam, go to your library, right click on Skullgirls, manage local files, and there you have the Skullgirls folder. Now, in the description you'll be able to find the GitHub page for the mod, where you'll download these two files, 3.7.14.json and d3d9.dll. Drag the .json file to the mod folder and the .dll to the Skullgirls folder. This will open the editor when you start the game, and I'll explain in a bit what .json does. And finally, something optional is to undust Paint. Yes, MS Paint. You'll only need it to get the color values, so don't worry about downloading a drawing app if you don't have one. In regards to this, if you still don't have a full body image of the character you'll be making the palette of, download it and save it somewhere easy to access. Okay, now with our stuff ready, let's get into the good stuff. Something that I have to be very clear about, this mod only edits existing palettes. It won't add new ones to characters. So make sure you edit the palettes you, or anyone else who plays locally with you, don't use. Now, open Skullgirls, go to Options, Video Settings, and set the game to windowed in a slightly small resolution so you can work comfortably. Go to Training Mode, select the characters with the palettes you want to modify in the same team, and select a stage with good lighting. Preferably the training stage if you don't have its lighting model. Once in the stage, modify the size of the editor window and set it in a way you feel you're comfy working. If you have more than one monitor, simply set the game and the editor in different screens. Select the character you'll modify. If they're not in the front, bring them with MP and MK or HP and HK. And go to File on the editor and click on Load JSON. That will allow you to check the individual colors of the palette. You'll only have to do this once unless .json is deleted or moved from that folder. So make sure you don't accidentally delete it while moving stuff around the mod folder. If you're a digital illustrator or have used the mobile palette generator, I'm sure you'll know what you're doing. But if you don't, then don't worry. I know it looks a bit convoluted, but it's easy to get the hang of it. Each section is an individual component of the character. This is where the drawing app comes in. Open it and import the character image you downloaded earlier. Set up the window and select the dropper tool. Upscale the image as much as you need to and get to work on all the parts of the body. Don't worry too much about perfectly matching the darker colors with the shadows of the image. Simply select the main color, go to the color editor and copy the value that appears there. Click on the color you'll change and paste the value at the bottom of the box. Do the same for the rest of the colors in the same row, modifying a bit the values, and with these two buttons you can copy the whole row's values to paste them in another row to save up time and troubles. And with that you're pretty much set up. Once you're done, go to File and save it under the name you know you'll recognize. But don't think you're done. Go to Autoload Palette, click on Add New Autoload Palette, select the character it belongs to, the number of the palette you modified, and click Open to select the palette file. With this, you won't have to manually load the palette each time you open the game. And with that, you're done. Now you can exit training, reset the game window to portless window, minimize the editor, and enjoy your new palettes. The only advice I can give is that depending on the character, you can do normal shadows, leave the whole row with the same color for a cartoony look, go crazy with a negative palette and make the shadows lighter than the base, or even experiment with high contrast and hard shadings to make some cool palettes that look taken straight off a manga or a comic or... Oh. Link in the description. So, not bad for a quick addendum, huh? If you're not a subscriber, the video is pretty much over, so don't worry, you can already get out of here. As for my skull buddies, just a quick heads up. Sadly, the update for Indie Overdrive had to be postponed. Long story short, the HDD of my PC died, and since I had all of my data in there, the progress I had of the Hades stage got lost. I'm still trying to find a way to recover everything, but I can't promise anything. It was a miracle I recovered the assets of my channel. So yeah, apologies for having to delay it and for the temporary lack of activity that will come. Because even if I recovered a lot, sadly I don't have the drive I need to work on new stuff. Sorry. But yeah, aside from that, I hope you have fun with the palette editor, and if you want more, I hope the tutorial for the stages and music comes in handy. See ya next time!